Regulations or alteration of county buildings. This was requested by Commissioner Nolte.
Thank you. We've been kind of wrestling with this issue since March. One of the things that I'm hoping to accomplish with this is to make sure that we stay in compliance with state statute 49.470, which is quoted in the ordinance. The statute specifically says that the county, Commission of each county shall, which certainly means different than may. That is that we cannot necessarily delegate those responsibilities. I think there's also some confusion on exactly what that authority means. I'm hoping to get some clarification. In the past, we were, as a commission, informed when we were talking about putting a wall up on this floor back there where the sort of mailroom offices are. There used to be a very large archway. We were certainly informed and given some information on that. The public administrator has requested we had some discussion on whether or not we could do some work over there in the Rooney Justice Center. Clearly, there was a lot of discussion even for the max pole that was put up over at Smithfield. The assessor's space in the basement certainly was subject to some discussion and a visit by the commission. The clerk's window at the annex, the recorder's annex office over there, and the door over by our HR department. I'm not sure exactly why it was that the room over, which is 1350, was not given any particular notice on it except for 1 hour's notice when it came to an email. I've been asking since that time for an explanation from the county administrator on what authority we went forward with that. I've gotten really no reply. I don't know whether there was any discussion between the other two commissioners or something I cannot discern. The only question that I got was from one of the other assistant administrators who was not in operations, which would have been facilities, I should say, which is really the department that would have that responsibility. And again, when we talked about this before, it's not been a question of the quality of work. It's not been whether when it was finally communicated, whether it was communicated accurately, or even the need. The issue that I have concerns about is that we were twofold. One is that alterations were made to a county facility, I think, in contradiction of 49.470, without very much notice, except an hour's notice to the commission. And secondarily, I have been requesting how this authority was delegated to the county administrator and then through his staff. I've been asking that explanation for 3 months and gotten just that one email, which was not really responsive to the issue that I had in mind. And while it was helpful and it was enlightening, it did not address the issue that I was specifically asking about. I think that we need to have some kind of a meeting before work starts. In fact, during the meeting where we talked back in March, I don't have the exact date, about the public administrator's possible adjustment to her space, I asked specifically if there was any work contemplated having to do with either construction or taking down of walls, and I got no answer, so I took the silence to mean that there was nothing contemplated. I don't know whether that means that work the decision to do that work was made between Monday and Wednesday morning, but I think that we need to make sure that we as a commission are engaged in this part of our responsibilities. And I think to not engage on this and to not assert our responsibilities under the law is in fact an abdication of our responsibilities and responsibilities of this commission to unelected staff. With that, I'll be happy to talk, to open discussion on that between my other two commissions.
I've read through your proposal. It says the county commission shall have authority for all structural changes of county buildings. Structural alterations.
Yes.
Okay. If we do this, our dock and slip holders are going to be furious with us, and rightfully so. Because that would mean that if a problem is brought to us on a Tuesday after our work session, then it couldn't be put on the following week for business session. So it'd have to be the following week for a work session. Then there'd have to be discussion, go on a business session. So virtually the whole month would go by before, for example, our docks could be changed or structurally altered or improved. What about safety?
That would be incorrect. What it says here is on number B, the county administrator shall be responsible for presenting such changes to the county commission for consent and compliance with this article. So it would
How's
not
he supposed to do
require.
that? How's he supposed to do that without violating the sunshine law? Are you asking him to poll the commission? He can't do that. He absolutely cannot do that unless we're in an official meeting.
I would be, well, for instance, if it were coming up and he were to say that today, we could take an immediate vote on it. But I'm not sure how many things there are, and I would be open to the idea of putting something in that would allow him to act in an emergency situation. Clearly, that would be appropriate, especially when you look at what happened to the docks, where we had the one that came loose from its moorings, and there was damage, and there was a necessity of actually putting up something structural to, well, I wouldn't say structural. I mean, when you put boards over a hole, I don't think that's necessarily structural, but I would certainly be open to allowing an exception for emergencies.
Commissioner, our statutes currently allow this commission to have emergency meetings. In the 3.5 years that I've served on this commission, we have had a sum total of 0 emergency meetings. So you would be asking us to change dramatically the way that this commission has consistently conducted its business if we're going to do this. And besides that, whenever we have a safety issue, I don't see how that we can possibly hamstring our staff from immediately going forward and dealing with a safety issue. What if we're notified that we're out of compliance with the ADA? Shouldn't they be allowed to go forward under direction with our county administrator? And the other thing
No,
is...
to answer the first, if I can take those in parts, because I don't want to forget your train of thought, but no, when it comes to ADA, that is generally going to be, those are regulations that are gone through in the normal course of either construction or remodeling. ADA requirements do not come into play unless that is taking place.
It doesn't say that in here. The other thing also, it doesn't have an emergency exception in here. Your draft doesn't have anything having to do with emergencies. It doesn't have anything to do with creating special meetings. It doesn't have anything to do, most importantly, we are allowed by Missouri statute to delegate certain duties to our county administrator. By contract, we have delegated certain duties to our county administrator, and I would continue to be teeing us up for a massive lawsuit on breach of contract if you do what you suggest in sub A and sub B of this proposal that you have here. We have over 168 buildings in county government. And the thought that before you could move any kind of a structure or make an improvement or a safety improvement or put up a door without coming to this commission, I just don't see how that possibly happens.
They've been historically doing that. I went through a rather long laundry list of those particular kinds of projects. Secondarily, I would question what exactly was the emergency situation that required us to tear the wall down in number 1350. What was the emergency that could not wait until one meeting or the other? I mean, I don't know that that was a safety issue. I don't know that that was a compliance issue with ADA. I don't know that that's really...
Here's the question. Why are you so opposed to giving our staff the additional space that they need? Are you opposed to that?
Obviously not. And as I said in my remarks, I have no qualms about the quality of work done. I have no qualms even about the possible mission that get fulfilled. What my question is why is that one different from all the other projects that I've listed here? And we do have, I mean, at what point do we allow latitude towards the staff on whether they can make changes in the structure? I mean, we are responsible for the structure, and it's come up time and time again that we are, in fact, the authority when it comes to facilities in this county. Now, like I say, if you have some thoughts on how we can construct construct something that would accommodate an emergency situation. The issue that I'm bringing, excuse me?
Construct something, no pun intended.
That's true, I hadn't thought of that. It's obviously a Freudian slip. But once again, I fail to see that the two issues that come to my mind is what was if following that train of logic, what was the emergency situation in 1350 that required it to go without any comment? Not to mention the fact that I asked about it specifically 2 days before and got no reply that there was construction contemplated, or I should say in this case destruction. And secondarily, why does it take 3 months for me to get an answer, which I'm still waiting on? That was what was the, now there may well be some authority, some controlling authority that was cited, but why is it that I have to go 3 months? Why do I have to ask this in nearly every meeting? What was the authority? Just give me a straight answer on some of this stuff so that I can work with it.
I'm sure, I think
I'll
it's
let- I'll
clear
let-
that it's been delegated.
Go ahead.
I think it's clear that it's been delegated also.
Can we know here, somebody says shall, it says shall, it doesn't say may.
You're aware that overall, our staff has, I believe, exercised extremely good common sense when it comes to what deserves commission attention as opposed to what does not deserve commission attention. For example, when Division 9 was created in the Marine Justice Center, we were involved with that situation. We were, of course, we have to be involved because we have to sign off on the woodworking and the different things that were done there. However, if you've been to the Marine Justice Center, you know that when we viewed it, there was a jury stand proposed there. It was determined for safety reasons and for dimensions of the courtroom that the jury box was no longer appropriate. That was not a commission level decision. That was something that the commission staff was able to take care of. It was an appropriate decision. They made the right call. They did the right thing. It's the same thing over here.
No, it's not, because the thing is, in the case of the courtroom, we were well aware, and I think well informed, thank you, of the, between our staff and between that of the electeds, we were well aware that the project was ongoing and that, you know, should we be involved in what size nails they're using, what size screws? No, obviously not. But on this one, we were not aware of the project. I can see no reason why we were not made aware of the project. An hour's notice is not, why do we, if that is the case, why do we give an hour's notice?
So
I mean, I don't understand.
are you opposed to giving our staff more room that they need? Are you opposed to that?
Obviously not. I've said that a couple of times now. You
Okay.
keep going back to this sort of point, and no. Obviously, I think that if there is a consensus among the staff, senior staff, or whatever configuration that is, that there should be an alteration in the structure, then they should come to us and say, we think there should be an alteration in the structure. As I said, when we put that door in over there, and even to the point of putting in the wall on the area adjacent to the copy room, it would, you know, staff came to us, they said, here's what we were proposing to do. We all said, fine, obviously there was no emergency, but it was a need that was expressed. We signed off on it. How is this different from that? Why is it
When you say we signed off on that, what mechanism are you talking about we signed off on that?
that we were presented that, when we discussed it, I believe, now I can't go back and cite meetings. Well, I don't know, I think I was
You knew
there.
about it, but I didn't.
You didn't know about it. Should you have known about it?
I'm fine. Everything is fine back there. They're working fine back there. They make good common sense decisions.
Again,
This
it's
has
not-
much to do about nothing.
No, it's not, because at what point do we decide where the authority ends and where it begins? Clearly because other and even more minor areas of changes were brought to our attention, and yet something like this was not. There seems to be some confusion, and at the very minimum, we need to provide staff with some kind of direction on this. And once again, I go back to it, is that it says the county, the commission of each county shall have the power. When I see shall, that doesn't, in an ordinance, that doesn't really give us a heck of a lot of wiggle, or excuse me, in a statute, that doesn't give us a heck of a lot of wiggle room. And clearly, when we're doing those kinds of things, I mean, we are in charge of this facility. There's just no way around it. We just discussed it a few moments ago with the idea of evacuation and the emergency plan, which, while is a function of staff putting together, still, commission needs to be involved. If there are alterations to the emergency plan, I think commission should be aware of them in time to put some input in. And with this, it's the same kind of thing. Why? And the other question is, why was it, if I asked the question on a Monday and the work began on a Wednesday, what was the harm in just saying, you know, we're thinking about taking this down, and here's where we're going with it, here's our reasoning. Why was it not brought up? Why was it not brought to our attention that this work was contemplated? Like I say, it was either already contemplated, and the silence on that particular issue was, in some degree, could be interpreted as deception, or was the decision made on a Tuesday morning, which concerns me that decisions made on the structures of this county are made on one day's notice and then carried out. I'm just saying that we need to have the authority over these facilities, and when it comes to, when it comes to actually building things, when it comes to constructing things, when it comes to tearing things down, and I got to tell you, the other thing is we are assigning, in this case, we are assigning to the county administrator a power that none of us as individual commissioners have. Not one of the three of us could go to facilities and say, tear this wall down, put this one up. We've had a history of that kind of a thing that has not been a very good one in this county. None of the three of us have that authority. If we vest it in the county administrator, I don't think it's too much to ask, especially in a non-emergency situation, if we're going to be doing those kinds of adjustments.
Okay, so Commissioner, really what this boils down to is you wanted to be able to say yes or no to whether or not our staff had extra room. You didn't get to say yes or no, so you're upset about that.
No, that is incorrect. What I am upset about is that we seem to be playing fast and loose with state statute, and I think that we should be, we should be observant.
Let's go to the state statute. If you take your literal reading that we shall have the power and we cannot delegate it, then that means you need to put your overalls on and pull up a hammer, because you're the one who has to repair or build any county buildings which have been erected or circumstances may require. Because it says the county commission shall have the power. It doesn't say we can delegate that power. So under your very restrictive reading of your own, you reach an absurd result.
That is absurd in the extreme on the face of it. It's a ridiculous argument. I don't think. I mean, come on. That is ridiculous to the point of not more.
Your definition of shall, the other definition of shall, it doesn't. We can delegate certain things. Our staff has made reasonable decisions through all these many years. And now all of a sudden, when you're the presiding commissioner, there's some sort of an issue about our staff being given extra room. I want to hear what Commissioner Nolte has to say about this.
I will once again restate one more time, because you continually misstate my position. My position is not that it was a bad idea to change the configuration. We didn't really give them more room. We changed the configuration to the degree we took a wall out. There was more room. That, as you continue to try to produce the red herring, that is what I'm saying is, and I will say it again for the third or fourth time, not my position, and I don't understand why it is that you're not understanding that rather simple concept. Commissioner Owen, what do you have to say?
I'd like to say, well, there's a lot of accusations going on. I'd like to hear what the county administrator has to say about this.
Mr. Administrator?
Well, Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity, and certainly this is very confusing for your employees. In order for this organization to operate, it is imperative that a clear chain of command be established. And this has clearly been established by the Commission Rules of Procedure as well as the County Administrator's contract, which all Commissioners voted for and signed. It works well if it is followed. Employees have been instructed to follow these various procedures as instructed by the Clay County Commissioners. Now, staff is going to pass out some information of what goes wrong when this county law is violated. I think that's being distributed now. In this instance, employees were instructed to use public funds to print the items shown. You'll see this is written in a foreign language, and I have no idea what it says.
Why are you passing something out? I'm a little confused.
Employees are also instructed to research and plan a reception for visiting foreign nationals on a business trip. Clay County's Code of Ordinances specifically prohibits staff instruction by an individual commissioner. So I would ask the question, what does this say? What is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of the reception? Is this official Clay County business that should be supported with taxpayer funds? We have a team of exceptional employees ready and willing to carry out the policy directives of the commission. So I sit here confused, as well as your employees, as to what those policy directives are and whose orders we're supposed to follow.
Firstly, this is, I think this is something worth discussing. It is out of order. We're talking about facilities. I don't think this deals with facilities, but I would be happy to talk about this when you want to talk about, when it is on the agenda to talk about it.
Oh, wait a minute.
This, wait a minute, I mean, how is this in order? And I don't have a problem talking about it.
You were talking about chain of command. This goes directly to chain of command. You violated chain of command apparently, because it appears that you told one employee directly to do this, you didn't tell the county administrator to do this. So it goes to chain of command. You've already opened the door to chain of command. This goes to chain of command. And this is a huge problem. You use taxpayer money for your own purposes and you're worried about moving a wall.
What purposes am I using it?
I happen to know that you own an export business. I happen to know that you go to China on a regular basis. And that is a misappropriation of county funds.
And do I use this in my business?
Well, I don't
I
think
mean,
there are any
right now you're
Chinese.
making an accusation. And what I would like to know is,
Is that
how is that?
Chinese?
Of course it is. When I, and to give it further context, when I was chairman of the International Trade Committee, I had cards printed in Chinese and Mexican, or excuse me, Spanish, French, and other languages.
Did you clear this through the chain of command that we're supposed to follow according to you? Did you clear this through the chain of command? You didn't bring this to the commission. You didn't bring it to the county administrator. So you want an archway to be more important than this? You did not follow chain of command. We weren't asked about this. The county administrator wasn't asked about this. Apparently, as I understand it, you circumvented chain of command, went directly to a lower employee, and
You
told them to do this.
you go to the county administrator when you need business cards?
I go to the county administrator for virtually everything. I follow chain of command.
For everything?
Virtually
Well,
everything.
You have a paper trail of that.
Commissioner,
But the thing is,
look, I go to the
let's get back to something else here, and that is this. You made an accusation that I misappropriated funds.
Well, it sure looks like it.
Let's hear your evidence. The biggest thing is, having these printed up and not using them for business is not that. So what I'm looking for from you is some evidence that I use these as for my private business.
Burden of proof, it's not me, it's on you.
You made the accusation.
Where's this company that understands this in Clay County? Where is this?
These-
Who is the company? Who is the company? You identify the company.
I'm sorry. say
What
that again.
company understands this in Clay County? How is this advancing a Clay County business?
You
What
mean like
company understands this?
You mean like the Asian American Chamber of Commerce here now?
In Clay County?
I don't think we limit ourselves to only talking to people in Clay County, but there are Clay County businesses.
Commissioner, I don't know about you, but I always like to represent Clay County. So here's the deal. You did not follow chain of command.
First off, no, let's
I
get back to the case. You made an accusation. Prove your accusation, and don't give me this.
don't have to, the burden's on you.
No, whoa,
Look
wait,
at this.
Madam
Look at this.
at what point did we go from burden of proof is on the accused as opposed to the accuser? You made an
So here's
accusation.
the deal.
You made an accusation, substantiate your accusation.
There's no company that you've used this for in Clay County, have you?
Wrong.
Okay, name it.
I've used it
Name the company.
I've used it during a meeting.
Name the company. You can't.
I can, but I am not gonna be cross-examined. Make your case that you've made an accusation, substantiate your accusation.
You know what? It says it on its face, right here. It says
Substantiate
it.
accusation. You're an attorney, you know these things. In what
Right here.
world would you, if you were representing a client, would you say
There's
that
the
the
proof.
burden of proof
Right
is
there. There's the proof.
It proves.
It proves that you have a Chinese export business and
No,
that
no,
you're
no,
using this.
I'm sorry, where does it say that? I'm a little bit confused.
Do you not have a Chinese export business?
I said, where does it say it on there?
Do you have a Chinese export business?
Where does it say it on there, ma'am?
Do you?
I am not going to be cross-examined.
You're not going to answer any questions that go to this. You're not going to answer any questions that go to this. You didn't
You
have the
didn't
commission on this.
You were doing the similar thing in that I asked you, what substantiates your accusation? And you
You're
said.
going round and round and
No,
round.
no, you said the burden of proof is on me to prove my
You didn't
innocence.
follow chain of command. You
But
didn't
you're
ask the
hopping back and
commission
forth.
about this.
You're hopping
You
back and
did,
forth.
Mr. Commissioner, County Administrator, were you asked about these business cards?
I was
Business
not,
items?
staff made me aware after they were printed and paid for.
So
Why
the
did
presiding
staff, so
commissioner,
staff waited until after they were printed, they did not inform you beforehand because,
Staff had great concerns.
why did they not express those to you before carrying that out?
I think they were afraid of violating a commission order.
I think I cannot give them an order, I can ask, I can request, in the same way I can request stationery. So,
I think
what
at
is-
this point, we need to just put this on the table indefinitely, because this speaks for itself, and this is a problem. And if you think some tiny little archway is an issue, and I did this in front of my
have
face,
you never seen that?
I don't recall seeing that before.
No, you don't recall.
Okay, so at any rate, just to deal with this one, let's, I'll let you have something.
Did you have-
You.
Once again,
I make a
this
motion to
is,
lay this on the table indefinitely, postpone this indefinitely.
motion has been made, it's a privilege motion.
And let me make it clear.
If I have, but the thing is, you reminded me earlier, just for a point of order, you reminded me earlier that when something is being tabled, and I want to make comment, you told me, you pointed out that it was a privilege motion, and discussion is not allowed, so I am only using what you had pointed out to me as being the case.
To clarify my motion, I'm making a motion that we place this on indefinite postponement.
Okay, you said, that is the motion, not the table motion, you want to correct this.
Indefinite postponement.
Okay. And that is, I take it, a privileged motion, correct? Correct, Mr. Counselor?
That's my name.
Very well, with that, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ridgway.
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
Commissioner Nolte.
No. No. It's kind of far away from the microphone at that point. All right, that concludes our regular agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda